Well, you don't see that every day. Welcome back, Troglodytes, to your daily dose of guitar information, the Trogly's Guitar Show. Starting off our journey tonight, we have a very interesting custom shop Crimson Division guitar. If you're not familiar with what that means, in the custom shop, there is a ranking above custom shop known as the Crimson Division. That's where things like the Dragon Les Paul came out of. They have these special red booklets that's normally where the really high-end arch tops are created, as well as the art and other super ultra fancy guitars. But here's the one we're talking about today. It caught my attention because dot inlays on a custom? What? You don't see that every day. From far away, I thought this was like a really souped up studio custom from the 80s, because that's totally the vibes that it's pulling off here, but let's take a look. Our face of the body seems to be pretty regularly spec'd with our custom multiply binding. You've got 4 control knobs. They opted not to have any type of a pickguard on here. Our count 'em, 3 humbuckers have fancy engravings on them and some sort of a fancy trapeze tailpiece. The Crimson Division called this one Midnight Gold. So that's interesting. The name of the guitar appears on the tailpiece. I like the symmetry that they've got going on for the most part. With the no pickguard on this side and that side, it works well with this piece. But it looks like they're billing it as a 57 reissue custom, which means we should have a mahogany top. But moving on to our headstock, we've got our same fancy engravings on our truss rod cover. Although it doesn't look like they went as far as doing it on the tuner tips, which sometimes they do. Everything else here is just regular Gibson Les Paul custom. Now, when I first saw the inlays, I was kind of against it. If you're gonna pay the big Crimson Division money, you might as well get something fancier than that. Our saving grace here is they're actually abalone instead of just like pearloid or mother of pearl, so it gives it a little bit more uniqueness, but just single ply binding around our fretboard. And they have confirmed it is an ebony fretboard, and since this was in early 2019, before they brought ebony back, this is technically an ebony board within the Richlight era and makes it a little bit more special, although it's really just on the tail end of it. And as far as the back goes, the body, pretty standard stuff. Back of the neck, also looking good. And then we've got this. Big gaudy plaques on the back. Gibson Custom Shop Les Paul Custom 2019, one of one built worldwide. So how much do you think a guitar like this would cost brand new? If this thing would have had fancier custom block inlays or Super 400 inlays, I could easily see this thing listing for like $15,000. But the seller up in Canada has it up for about $11,000. For one of the Crimson Division art guitars, if this appeals to you, it's not the worst price we've ever seen on one. But next up, check out this beautiful double cut I found in Japan. PRS likes to call this the black dog hair finish, and you can say it reminds you of TV yellow but in a different hue or whatever. But this double cut junior just encapsulates what I love about this style of finish, because you get to see the cool wood grain all while having a gloss finish. Kind of reminds me of the Silver Fox finish. In fact, a nice gold grain fill on this would have really transformed it even further. But this one is a Murphy Lab creation and it has light aging. So if you've been looking for a cool custom shop double cut, I'm sure I can help you get this one home from Japan, because it's got one of the cool custom shop junior cases. The only downside to this one is the fretboard is very light. However, after some conditioning, I'm sure it would look fine. And here's our glorious back shot. But let me tell you, my friends, there's actually one more secret on this guitar. It's a little bit hilarious. It has a solid black stinger. Not that you can really tell, but you can see your porous looking finish over here and then your black stinger design. I thought that made it funny enough that of course I had to share this with you, on top of having cool wood grain. But next up, to continue with our theme of ebony guitars that are cool, check out this one from Mike's Gear Vault. It's a 1986 Flying V that at first I thought, is that one of the designer series ones that I've never seen before? But no, the closer you look at this, the more obvious it becomes that it's been modified. So we've got dual EMG pickups, which I haven't seen until just now, and then somebody routed the thing for a Floyd Rose, also didn't notice that. It's cool that they left the original stop bar tailpiece holes there, just for good measure, but this thing caught my attention because of the cool flamed paint job. The designer series guitars, the graphics aren't for everyone, but had there been like a flame one like this, I think people would have liked it. But maybe I'm thinking of that with current mindset versus the 80s mindset. But it looks like we've got some Schaller strap locks on it. And they have replaced our Gibson logo, so the whole thing probably had a refinish. Which I guess would make sense if you had to route the back out. And who knows, maybe there's a repair under the finish and that's why they ended up modifying it in the first place. But it's cool that it has this style case. You don't find many with that one, but it is error correct. But it looks like somebody had to reinforce the handle. So he's asking $3,300 if a modified Floyd Rose Flying V is something you need to add to your collection. Next up, just a friendly warning. You're shopping on Reverb early in the morning, late at night. especially on the weekends, the whole thing's just getting flooded with fake listings. Like, here's a beautiful Gold Burst custom. Excellent condition, and I wanted to do some clarification. I'm not saying this is a suspicious price because it's a whole bunch of numbers. It's just a currency conversion thing. That's too cheap for one of these things, but it's not so cheap that somebody who hasn't been in the market for a couple of years might not accidentally price their guitar for that. Just watch out for zero feedback, typically international listed guitars. I'm recording this one in the middle of the night. I go to Reverb, how many of these do I see? There's one that's too obvious. This one's good, because I think this would be like a $4,000 guitar, so see, them targeting $3,200 is not necessarily bad, but this is a rare model, somebody's going to jump on it. I'll have to blur this particular one, because I want to share it on a different night, but this guitar is listed elsewhere for $8,000. But to end out our initial theme of cool black finish guitars, check out this Studio Pro from 2014 in Graphite Pearl. I'm surprised this thing has lasted as many days as it has. It's $1,000 shipped to your door, he's open to offers. You guys are sleeping on this. The 2017 Studio Pro models are pretty cool. I've actually reviewed and documented them. In fact, this seller is referencing my old video. The Graphite Pearl finish is really cool, even if it doesn't necessarily look like it. This one just has a few nicks and dings, but I thought I'd bring it up as a nice push to his listing because $1,000 is not bad. If I remember correctly, I think I sold my review piece for like $1,200 to $1,400. It even has the weird shortly lived notched speed knobs. I was tempted to pick this one up for the Trade Tuesday series, but we don't quite have enough money in our cash coffers. Speaking of which, if you'd like to see that series continue, you can make a trade offer to tradetrogly@gmail.com or a cash offer. I've currently got one of these Gibson catalogs, some really cool guitar pamphlets, 70s, 80s Gibson Schaller tuners, and the really cool Dean guitar with the case and a whole bunch of other upgrades. Next up, I want to take a look at Joe's 1972 Les Paul Custom. Now, I think it's pretty clear that his guitar did not start life like this, but the story behind it's pretty interesting. So the whole thing's been refinished. You've got kind of a cool Ferrari red finish going on here. Definitely takes it to the 80s, and then he threw a maple fretboard on here, or he had his luthier do that. But you'll notice we've got black inlays here. Now, within the Gibson realm of things, they don't use black inlays like that. Now, I say that with an asterisk. You know, you've got things like the Dark Knight Les Paul and the Darksyde custom shops that, yeah, they do, but on a maple fretboard, generally you don't see them do that outside of a custom order, and you have to spec it that way. But he actually had his luthier remove the original ebony board, and he used that board to craft these inlays. So it's like, it's still kind of a part of the guitar. It's just the inlay instead of the fretboard. It almost looks like he went with like a gold fret wire. As far as the back, he put a Route 66 decal on it, and somebody needs to fill me in. What strap locks are these? Because I keep seeing them all over the place. They're like sunken into the guitar. But going back to the guitar, it looks like he left the neck just raw, maybe oil finished. So kind of a cool customized guitar. But now you're telling me that you're warming up to the maple fretboard? All right, now I got this custom to show ya. Oh, I love this thing. Iguana burst, super flamey, gold hardware, and it's got the maple board. It's not traditional, not in the slightest, but you have to understand this one from a historical context. We had just talked about the Richlight era. That's 2011 through 2019. You can find these customs around 2011, 2012. This one's actually pretty late, 2018. But there was a large group of people that said, I'm not buying a brand new custom unless it has real wood. So that's why we saw rosewood get used, maple get used, and a few other alternatives, and dealers would custom spec them this way. I had a red Les Paul custom just like this one, and I will forever remember that guitar. However, I think I remember that one more so because I just changed the Mesa Boogie amp, but that thing played and sounded so good. I hate the fact that the maple boards in this era are not lacquered and goopy goop like the 70s and 80s ones, because that causes them to get dirty really fast like you're seeing right here. But this color combination and that board, it just works. They're very cool guitars. I would highly suggest checking one out if you're not scared of bucking tradition. As far as the back, just a nice dark green color. He's asking $6,500, but he is open to offers. I'd say he's within the realm of reality for something like that. But if a little bit more traditional is your style, check out Ryan's guitar right here, a 1979 Cherry Sunburst Custom. I had to click on this because chrome hardware clown bursts are beautiful in my opinion. I think they look better than gold because it tames down the circus act. But this one also got my click because look, kind of a nice figured bird's eye top. It's not overly in your face, but it's a figuring style that you don't see too often in the custom realm in this era. I can tell it has been refretted, and somebody's replaced the knobs for sure, but I wanted to find out, is this actually truly factory chrome? Because it's had some replaced parts right there, the nut, that's been done. Usually that gets done at a time of a refret, but who's to say that they wouldn't change everything else? This is actually the photo that we're looking for. Usually, people don't bother to change out the studs of the bridge, and that seems to match, so yeah, I do believe this one to be factory chrome. They are out there. And you're saying, hey Trogly, why does this look so weird? It's because A, the lighting's probably not the best, and B, this is a really dark mahogany body, and this is a really light colored maple neck. It is the same finish, trust me, it just looks different on different wood. Here's a slightly more lighted shot, but you can still see what we're talking about. But if you don't quite have the custom shop budget today, you might enjoy this next one. It's one of those Les Paul Signature 120th anniversary guitars, so that tells us it's from the year 2014. Every guitar that year had this doofy inlay. So if you like it, great. If you think it's something special, sorry to burst your bubble. But that top on this one is excellent. I love the uncovered double black pickup bobbins. You still have your switch over here. It's from that period of Gibson's history when they have wire head stocks, and it looks like this one originally would have had the E-Tune system. However, it's been swapped out for Grover, so you got nothing to worry about on that front either. But man, that's one of the best tops I've seen. Keep going back to it. You gotta remember, most of them look like this. Not saying that this one's bad, it just doesn't have the same vibe. But these things came in a whole plethora of finishes. It's cool enough, I just made an offer on it. Now, just a PSA, there have been some mod collection guitars listed if you happen to have missed them the first time. Phil's shop down in Nashville, Tennessee has that blue 59 Les Paul that has the weird comfort cut on it, where they just shaved away the body and the binding to give you kind of a modernized take. I love the blue finish and it's very innovative, but I feel like the custom shop just didn't take it enough, like maybe it needed to be sanded down even further. It still seems like you're going to hit a ledge right here, like it's not a soft enough of a transition, but maybe the photo just makes it look worse than it is. But it is cool to see some more shots of this experimental one. That's something you won't forget from the mod collection. If only it had an Axcess heel cut too. One of those wild Wallabies Rocco Modern Life SGs. These things seem to get flipped quite often. He's asking $3,500 on it. And then this one was technically demo shop, the Flood Blue Les Paul Custom that we had just talked about. The second one, with the chrome hardware instead of gold. But whoa, his photo really shows off that the back is a dark black and then you get your blue stinger. Alright troglodytes, I think that's enough guitar hunting tonight. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you tomorrow on the next one. Take care. If you enjoyed tonight's episode, consider subscribing. I post videos like this every day. And you might even enjoy this next one.